Hey, what's up guys? We're gonna do our 5-minute CFC Kid devotional. And today we're learning about why God should be our leader. And we're gonna learn that from 1 Samuel chapter 8, right? And it's gonna be awesome. So I kind of want to just give you where we've come so far in the story. So starting from 1 Samuel chapter 1, we saw Samuel, he was born, then he grew up with Eli the priest in the temple, and then we saw that God said that Eli was a bad priest, so God said, you're not going to be a priest anymore. And so then Samuel became the main priest and the main judge in Israel, and so now Samuel has been the judge and the priest for a long time, and he did a really good job. He did the best job, to be honest, because what Samuel would do is, he would hear from God, and then he would tell the people what God told him. And so really, God was the king of Israel during this whole time. God was in charge, and Samuel really was just there to tell the people what God was saying. And so now Samuel's getting really old, and he's about to stop being the priest and the judge. And so now the people are saying, we need someone who replace Samuel. But now, what they tell Samuel is this. They say to Samuel, Samuel, what we want is a king. We don't want a judge and a priest anymore. We want a king. And what they're saying is this, is that we don't want God to be our king anymore. We want somebody else to be our king. And Samuel's like, whoa. Samuel was like, God should be your king. A king will take advantage of you and he'll do bad things. You want God to be your king. And then the people were like, no, we want a king. We don't want God to be our king anymore. So then Samuel went to God, and Samuel said, the people, they want a king. They don't want you to be their king anymore. And then God said to Samuel, Samuel, give them what they ask. They're not rejecting you, but they're rejecting me. But tell them all the things that a king will do. And so then Samuel told all of them what a king would do. Samuel said, a king will take your sons for battle, and he'll take your daughters to work for him. And he'll take all your cows, and he'll take your bread, and he'll take your fields. And a king will just take advantage of you. But then the people were like, we still want a king. And so then Samuel was going to go and he would choose a king for them. I got beer in my mouth. And so, guys, what we learn in this story is that although Israel wanted somebody else to be their king, God should still be their king. Because God could do things that somebody else could never do. Right? Samuel told them that you don't want a man to be your king. You don't want a man to be in charge of you because he'll take advantage of you and he'll make mistakes. Right? He'll take their fields and he'll take their daughters and their sons. Whereas God wouldn't do that. And so guys, God would always be faithful to him and he wouldn't make mistakes. Whereas a king would. He wouldn't be faithful and he'd take advantage of them. Right? And so what we see is this, that they wanted somebody else to be their leader. They wanted someone else to be in charge of them instead of God. And guys, the thing is, who is in charge of us in our lives? Who do we listen to? Who do we imitate? Who do we copy? Is it the people on TikTok? Or is it our friends? Or is it movie stars? Or is it people on TV shows? Or is it people who we like their music? Like, who are the people that we listen to, that we copy, who lead us? Because it should be God. And I'm going to show you why. Let's say the person who leads us is this person on TikTok. They are the funniest, they are the coolest people on TikTok. And whatever they say, we kind of copy or we kind of do. But what happens when that person makes a mistake? What happens when that person maybe says something mean? Then do we still follow them? Do we still lead them? Do we copy them? Do we be mean too? No. And the truth is, people will always make mistakes. Or what if the person who leads us, the person we listen to and copy, is our friend? But what happens when our friend is mean to their mom? What happens when they maybe steal from the store? Do we copy them? Do we follow them still? Do we do what they say? No. Right? Because if somebody is our leader other than God, eventually they'll make a mistake. And they'll take advantage of us, or they'll put themselves before us. Right? And so if we follow somebody, guys, it's going to eventually lead to something wrong. But when we listen to God, and God is our leader, that doesn't have to happen. Right? This is what Jesus said. And I'm going to read it for you right now. Jesus said this: everyone who hears these things I say and obeys them is like a wise man. He's saying anyone who listens to me and does what I say is wise. And then he tells this story. The wise man built his house on a rock. It rained hard and the water rose. The winds blew and hit that house. But the house did not fall because the house was built on rock. But the person who hears these things I teach and does not do them is like a foolish man. The foolish man built his house on sand. It rained hard and the water rose and the winds blew and hit that house. And the house fell with a big crash. This is what Jesus is saying. He's saying when I'm your leader, when you listen to me, he's saying your life won't fall. He says that you'll make it through hard times. He says that when you're faced with that decision, whether to maybe steal like your friend or say something mean like your friend or be nice and be honest, you can choose honesty because you're not listening to your friend, you're listening to God. You're listening to Jesus, who teaches us what we should do, which is the right thing to do. Guys, what we see is this, that when Jesus is our leader, he's always faithful and he always loves us. But if we put other people as our leader, if we listen to other people, at times they will make mistakes and they won't care about us. Just like the king in Israel. Guys, God should be our leader. Jesus should be our leader. When we make Jesus our leader, although it might be hard, Jesus will always be with us and help us to do the right thing. He'll always be with us when something bad happens, and he'll help us get through. So guys, why should Jesus be your leader? Why should he be the one that you copy and you listen to? Because he cares about you. He doesn't make mistakes. He won't take advantage of you. He wants what's best for you. Right? Jesus is the greatest leader, and we should follow him.